everyone, and welcome to part 1 of the Tamiya Hotshot 2 Blockhead Motors Edition buggy build. We're excited to share this build with you, but before we do, we want to check out the tools you'll need as well as the electronics required to complete this build. Both of these are in the Hotshot 2 manual on pages 2 and 3. Okay, let's get started. Open bag A and organize the parts in your parts tray. While the manual doesn't mention it, we added a little bit of black grease to both of our thrust assemblies in both of our gearboxes. We also lubed up all the gears with our favorite grease, Udder Butter from Cal RC. This stuff is waterproof and helps protect our gears from premature wear. For this step, make sure you key the flat spot on the propeller joint to the flat spot in the idler gear. This is a clear case of read the instructions clearly. I added the plastic bearing here when the manual called for a ball bearing. Thankfully we caught it and fixed it before moving too far along. This little piece was a nightmare to keep in place. I suggest adding a bit of black grease to help keep it secure during the assembly process. The mating of these two gearbox halves is a little tricky. Take your time and use lots of wiggle to get them together correctly. Nice job on the gearbox. Give it a quick spin to make sure there is no binding in any of the parts. Hotshot 2 uses an interesting setup for attaining the proper gear mesh. I'll be using the stock gearing as well as the stock blade locations. The front gearbox builds very similar to the rear one. Don't forget to match up the flat spots here so the propeller shaft inserts all the way. Like the rear, a little care and some extra wiggle is needed to get the two halves to mate. Pay close attention to the orientation of this piece. It's not a big deal if you don't get it right, it's an easy fix later. Don't ask me how I know. There are left and right sides to all of the rear suspension pieces. Pay close attention that you don't get any of them mixed up. I usually add a bit more grease than probably necessary to make sure the pins get completely coated. We'll be building the left and right sides of the front end simultaneously. Just make sure you keep that in mind when attaching some of the parts. Pay extra close attention to the build steps of these ball plates. They are directional, as well as needing the holes to line up in the black and chrome pieces. You'll also want the chamfered edge on the black piece to be facing away from the chrome part.
Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone. You will always be there. Always alone.
Yep, I'm still here. This area of the build is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just sitting back and letting you enjoy the build process. Now that we've got the front and rear clips done, you could wipe off any excess grease that may still be lingering around. If your second hole here doesn't line up right away, use a tool to help align the holes for the 30mm screw. Great job so far on the build of your Tamiya Hotshot 2 Blockhead Motors Edition buggy. As with most Tamiya vehicles, this kit doesn't disappoint when it comes to the build process. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be notified of future videos in this series. Thanks for watching.